Looking into the financial data for using the past 5 years rather than just the past 2 years for EA, a few things were discovered through the trends and so forth. And as you can see, the progression consistently shows an ebb and flow for them, and this can be correlated with a few things, a few key characteristics that show up. For instance, during a time period where they had a flop occur with one of their big products, which was called Anthem, it occurred and the stock price actually did not drop, and in fact escalated, went up. And this was due to a fact that they had released another title prior to that they did not even know what was going to happen with initially, but it ended up doing so much better that it promoted the sales and the stock price to remain the same, if not climb, even with one of their major titles failing. Whereas if you look at the end of 2018, the beginning of 2019, with the big dip, a occurrence happened that involves the had to push back a major title, which normally, as you can see, they keep going a positive to negative, and the positive spiking usually when a new title is coming out, and usually at the different quarter marks. But in this case, it actually went down, and that's because the major title that they were bringing out, they had to push back, and then from having to push that back, it created this disparity that looks like that they were doing a lot worse than they actually were. And then later on, some things happened, as in the spike that occurred in 2020 that dropped a bit. They had promoted that their sales would be quite good, but because they didn't show a same progression that was originally anticipated, it led many of the people to abandon their stock with EA, even though it was on the rise, and continued to rise throughout that year. Then another things that occurred, which involved prices either spiking or increasing, decreasing. At the most current, the prices have been rising a lot more than they should be, and that is due to an event that recently happened. It's kind of political, where a report went out where Amazon was in the process of purchasing EA, and that caused the stock to increase, as a lot of people were then associating it that they were going to be absolved by Amazon and then had a better product. But then this, of course, ended up being a false or alarm, or something occurred that made it not be the case. So stock prices still went up. They're probably going to drop, but they still will rise as it's coming up on the time of the year where they're going to release a new title. And then, as you can see, the COVID time periods were really good for the big title game companies like EA, as their stock prices have skyrocketed as their sales in gaming, everyone's running to gaming as it's safe, stay in your house, and the popularity has increased as well. Looking at the data, what's it worth? The data is increased in value every year. It consistently keeps going up what the data is worth. The data breaches have increased in cost by about 12.7% from 2020 alone, and they will continue to rise. And reasonings behind why data is going to keep rising is, for one, what it is, essentially what it is for the company, is worth a lot, as it supplies them with more and more with all these new tools to showcase what can be gained from data. And also the cost of it will keep going up because of having to have all these people to deal with it also creates it to be worth more. What affected the data the most within the data set that I was used? Clearly, again, high and low are shown as the predominant thing as compared to either the close or the open. But then the main thing also is when a big title, a game title, is coming out, that usually affects the stock the actual most, but you can see that through the trending. Would clustering be worth it? It'd be worth it when dealing with associating the consumers to seeing what they like, what they don't like, and being able to take their purchase history and maybe questionnaires to that way to be able to better associate them and market to them specifically to help out. The correlations that come down to what they are, they're not coincidental, because everything that occurs in the data has a rhyme or reason to it. It's not just random. So we're dealing more with the spatial and temporal type dealings with what's occurring rather than the coincidental. With social networking, being able to see what's going on right now has spiked interest in EA. So lots of people are flocking and they're highlighting it and they're noticing there's lots of interactions. And with the social network, you can see people's positive, negative reaction to EA, and you can use this to then either improve or sway or find the people who are less likely to actually be of use to you. The trends that are occurring would be with the engagement of the people. It might be due to the thing that I talked about with Amazon possibly buying EA. Now there's a lot more people, there's a lot more buzz, and now EA can use that to its advantage, market to people for free essentially, because they're already coming to them, so they just put what they want them to see, and of course the risk being that they not like what they see. And where's it going in the future? The prices will keep going up as far as the financial. EA's been pretty consistent. They go up and down throughout the year, but as the time comes for the new quarter for games, they consistently put out a title that does well or something in that year that does well and promotes their stock to rise. The only negative possibly is eventually there will be a decline, most likely, as post-COVID occurs. And once that happens, then their stock will drop most likely, but it won't be super negative, but it would be best to sell prior to that or if the first time you see it coming. Now, shown for the SWOT analysis, the opportunities that are coming out was the social buzz that's occurring. Upcoming games are always possible to be good, and then the marketing in general to be able to use the social buzz and then the upcoming games to make the best things. And then the threats, of course, is the social side as well. People who don't like EA want to spread more things this way, and then delays can occur, and then games get literally declined in the future, possibly from the post-COVID eventually. The strengths from the data shows it's consistent development, they have consistent quality, and they maintain positive trends throughout, and gaming currently is popular. And then the weakness, social dislike for EA specifically. The PR team flops consistently, making bad decisions. And then, of course, again, the weakness being in gaming in general, it will have a decline. It's just when will that occur? And thanks for watching.